Hey, what's up, Bulldogs? It's John Sunmez here from BulldogMindset.com. I am going to be talking about Grant Cardone's his basic philosophy on real estate investment, basically saying that you should only invest in 16 units or more, and whether or not I think that's true. I got this comment off a video that I did called Get Out of Debt Fast. This video comes from Emmanuel Roberts, and he says, video idea: what do you think about Grant Cardone's 16-unit multifamily requirements for investing in real estate? He seems to swear by this, but you seem to adopt a different philosophy. I respect both of you guys, so I would like to hear what the discrepancy is. A video would be nice. First of all, I'm a pretty big Grant Cardone fan. I think that he's really written some really awesome books. I think that I hadn't heard before, that I've always talked about this, and then when I saw him talking about this, it sort of reinforced that, because a lot of people think you're fucking crazy when you're extremely prolific, when you're just obsessed about things, but that's what real success is made out of. He talks about this idea of 16-unit multifamily for a requirement for investing. And I believe I encountered this. I talked to Grant a couple of times about investing in some of his bigger projects. I decided not to do that for now. I may do it in the future, but you know, Grant's a great guy. And we were discussing this a little bit, and I also came across his book. Like, he's got this new book on real estate. I believe, we'll see, I'll put a link here as well. I don't remember the exact name of it, and it's, you know, I wasn't like super impressed with the size of the book, but there was some really good information in there that actually changed my mind about things. I've never really been against investing in big properties and 16-unit properties or above, but I'll tell you this, is that I hadn't done it before. I had been investing mostly in single-family duplexes, fourplexes, basically 4 units or below, simply because that's what you can get a loan on. Just a conventional loan. If you do above 4 units residential, it becomes a commercial loan. You need to use the bank to do that, and those terms are less favorable. You usually don't have a 30-year amortization. It's usually 25 at the most, and it's usually a balloon payment, so it's usually due in like 5 or 10. I mean, there's a lot of ways to negotiate these type of deals. But here's the thing: when I read in his book that, you know, why he says to do the 16-unit multifamily, it hit the nail on the head for me, and I couldn't argue with him, right? You know, again, I haven't been against it, but he made a really compelling case that is pushing me in the direction of saying, well, if you can do it, then it makes sense to start out doing that. And I'll give you a couple of reasons. So the number one reason that what he was talking about, or the number one reason for me, has to do with property management. Unfortunately, I have to get to this point where I have to tell you guys I can't recommend any property management companies, because so far I've had some really bad experiences lately with property. I've had them in the past, but lately it's gotten worse again. You know, I've gotten to the point where I'm getting billed for shit that, you know, I got to check up on all this stuff and check up on them, and a lot of property management companies have gotten to the point where they've figured out how to make more money off of maintenance and other services than they have off of the managing of the properties. And while, you know, in business in general, it's a good idea to figure out what products and services you can add on and how you can make more money, the value, there's no value add for the end user, and so that's a problem. Okay, I can't trust property management companies. What he talked about, which having a 16-unit or higher building, which I think it probably has to be a little bit higher than 16 units for most places, is that you can hire professional management. And he defines professional management as someone that is dedicated to your property, or is a dedicated property manager, basically that works for you. The way I would define it is, the way I'd say, like, the big advantage here is that if I hire a property management company, I am their customer. Okay, I'm a client for them. And so as a client, I can be upset, and I can say, hey, you guys are ripping me off, you're treating me wrong, you need to take better care of my property. And that carries some weight, especially if I have a lot of properties, it carries more weight. But I'm still one customer. They've got a lot of other properties. They have, you know, there's mixed interests, right, here between the client and the renter and all of this, right, and their bottom line. Okay, if I have a 16 unit or a big property, and I hire a property manager on my payroll that works for me, guess what? I'm the boss. There's a big difference between being client or customer and boss, right? This is a property management company. This is client, right, or customer, and this is boss. Boss is above, okay? Boss means that if someone rips you off, you fucking fire them. It means that you get to say exactly how they're going to do this and how they're going to manage the property and what you want in the lease and how they're going to handle this and what they will charge you for, right? You're going to pay them an hourly rate. You're going to, you know, or a salary, right? You're in control of all of these things. You're not going to get ripped off on maintenance, right? If you're smart about this and you hire the right person. So that made a lot of sense to me because honestly, you know, I generate passive income. You can check out, I've got a whole playlist on real estate investment, but you know, I do like, you know, around $10,000 a month of income. I never have to work. Again, it's a passive income, but the biggest headache I have by far with my real estate investment is the property management, the maintenance on those properties where I feel like I'm getting ripped off a lot of times, and you know, issues come up, and it's just, I hate to be ripped off. I hate to be ripped off. I had one instance recently where I had a roof that needed to be replaced on a property, and I got bids from the property management company of $10,000 estimate, and I was like, there's no way. And I went out and did my own, you know, called several roofing contractors, and it was, the mid bid was like $4,000, or that might have been the high one actually. It was coming in between like $3,000 to $4,000. And so, you know, that just pisses me off. It honestly just pisses me off. When I hear Grant Cardone talking about this, that makes a lot of sense. When I first started out, I couldn't. So I couldn't buy, you know, but if you can, if you've got the money, you know, when I first started out, I had 10 grand. I had less than 10 grand, and I was trying to invest with what I could, and I could put 10% down on a $100,000 property, okay? But if you've got like $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $100,000, and you can do it, then heck, maybe you should just go with a 16 unit or greater building and just start big, right? Because he talks about how like if you start big, you know, you'll end up making a lot more money, right? You might as well, right, rather than this slow and small thing. You know, where I would differ with him is I'd say that for some people it's not going to make sense. I'd rather you buy just a damn single family house or a duplex or something like that and get started than save up and never buy this 16 unit building because, you know, you're going to go big or go home. In this case, you know, let's just start investing. Let's start making progress, and then maybe you can transition to the bigger units. I've got a friend of mine that I helped start investing, and he basically did that. You know, I helped him figure out, buy his first house, and then he bought like a duplex and then a fourplex, and then he sold that, and then he's looking to buy some really big units now. So the third argument that he had here that made a lot of sense. I've got something like, you know, like 13 properties now, like 26 units. And it's a bit of a pain in the ass. You know, I've got all these bank accounts. I've got like 10 bank accounts for the properties. I've got, you know, to pay taxes and insurance on all these things. I've got to have LLCs for each one of those things and file annual reports for all of those. I got to go and try and like get all these properties listed and sign contracts and sell them all, right? When I was buying them one at a time, it didn't feel like, you know, like, because it's slow. You know, I was buying one a year, but now that I've got all these properties, like to dispose of them, to transfer them into something else is really, really difficult. So now I'm wishing, I'm like, if I just had one building, one 26 unit building instead of 26 separate units, or, you know, divided up among 13 properties, life would be so much easier, right? From a lot of things, from the management and maintenance of it, from the properties themselves. So that makes a lot of sense as well. I'd also point you to someone else if you're looking for real estate mentorship, which is Tom from Flip Anything USA. His, you know, his technique is a little bit different than Grant's. He's a little bit more straight shooter, down to earth type of dude with just really, really wise investment advice. He buys a ton of stuff. He buys a bunch of properties, commercial and residential, and, you know, doesn't matter how many units. He's got some big units, he's got small units, he's got expertise everywhere, and he'll buy them and he'll flip certain ones, he'll hold on to certain ones. He's just always making deals. And one of the things that he's really, really good at is making insane deals. But I would agree with him. I think it makes sense if you've got the money, go ahead, buy 16 unit or higher as your first property. Okay, it makes sense. Go big or go home. I get that. And like I said, with the property management, that makes sense. If you don't have it though, then, you know, just buy small. Or if you don't have the balls for it, it's fine. It's okay. It's cool. All right. We're bulldogs here, but we still, you know, have to be, we have to do what we can stomach as far as risk. Okay. I'm not going to say comfortable. You should move out of your comfort zone. This shit should be uncomfortable investing at all in real estate. But if you can't, just buy one property. Like, don't worry, don't get caught up. Because what I don't want to see you do is not take any fucking action. And if you think I have to buy a 16-unit property, otherwise I'm not going to buy anything, you're probably not going to take action. I'd rather just see you like learn the trade, buy some properties, buy some houses, make some mistakes if you have to. I mean, you will make mistakes. Try to minimize those, but go ahead and move forward. Taking action is the most important thing that you're going to do in your life. Don't let, you know, what someone says paralyze you because you can't take action the best way possible yet. Just take action, just start doing it, and you'll be glad that you did. All right, Bulldogs, if you haven't already, if you want to subscribe, if you want to become a fucking Bulldog and join us on our journey as we improve ourselves in all areas of our lives and develop that Bulldog mindset, click that subscribe button down below, and I will talk to you Bulldogs next time.